The beautiful vistas of Honduras' Yoro region hide the damage Hurricane Mitch is still causing more than 5 years after that great storm. The devastation was enormous. Estimates range between 5,000 and 8,000 people were killed in the rain, the flooding, and mudslides that followed. Today, communities like Subirana are feeling the after effects both economically and socially. Nestled in the Yoro Mountains, Subirana is an agricultural community of about 4,000 people. Once a lush area to grow coffee, Mitch changed not only the topography of the town, but the soil, and coffee can no longer be grown commercially since the product has become inferior. The government office for coffee farmers sits idle, and its greenhouse looks battered as the people have shifted to growing other crops to stay alive. Oscar Yanez Mejia teaches first grade at the local school. He was in Subirana when the hurricane hit.
It rained for 15 days and 15 nights. It actually rained more here than the rest of the country. They ran out of food. They didn't have any electric power. They didn't have any communication like for 30 days. The school went off because like for almost 1 year because there was a lot of people that lost their homes. There was a mudslide halfway of the road, so they were uncommunicated. They weren't able to go to the city.
Today, his children are learning to read and write, but they also have time to play Duck, Duck, Goose with a group of Americans during recess. The Americans are part of a Methodist mission team sent by Chapelwood Church to help build a new church in the region. A carpenter by trade, Doug Cheeves is the leader and is putting up door jambs for the future lavatories and shower. Indoor plumbing is a luxury to most people who live here. Another group is digging out the trench to the septic tank. Afternoon rain comes, flooding out much of their progress. But in Subirana, challenges like this are a daily occurrence. By week's end, the plumbing project is completed, but it will take days, weeks, or even months before the new system can be tested. Gene Davis is a retired electrical engineer. Lighting the church must be simple, but also efficient. Gene's group is assembled to run conduits all over the newly plastered walls. Unlike building in the U.S., where utilities are set before construction, take a look at team member Clay Hightower as he cuts through the concrete with a circular saw. Marisa Isaacs is the pastor of the church. Her task is not easy. Not only does she face the financial burdens of this economically challenged region, Marisa is a pioneer. There are not many women who serve as pastors in Honduras.
Well, in this place, I don't have more problems with this, and I need to give thanks to God for this. It's amazing, but here I don't have more problems with this. To know how much that I can think the Lord can make with my life and with my talents, and to know the power of God.
Of the 12 congregations on the mainland, there are only 1,500 members. Of those, 65% are children. The mission team leads a Bible school Sunday morning teaching Noah's Ark. With coloring sheets and crayons brought from afar, the lesson is a big hit, not only with the children, but with the team. After working a week in Subirana, the team leaves for a 5-hour bus ride to the northern Honduran coast. From La Ceiba, there's a 15-minute plane ride to Utila, one of the Bay Islands on which Rotan is better known. The Methodists have been in Utila for more than 150 years, but the roots are of British heritage, different from the church in Subirana. There's a school which is in need of a new fence. The team willingly pitches in, tearing down the old, but carefully. All the wood is salvaged, along with the nails that are pulled from pickets by hand. Even the posts are uprooted and the concrete knocked off. Supplies to this part of the world don't come easily, so recycling is a must. There is time for some sightseeing, and a few team members were able to spend an afternoon fishing, even catching a barracuda, which was served at dinner. Some others were able to scuba dive as the island, like Rotan, is becoming even more and more popular with divers from around the globe. But Pastor Juan Simpson cautions, however, while the recreational sports have brought in much needed money, he says it's also a facade. Honduras remains one of the poorest and educationally challenged countries in all of Latin America.
You go to some places that look like they're very prosperous, where kids are going to school and healthcare is good and things like that, but that is not necessarily the reality of the whole country. And it's not even necessarily the reality of the places where you see that. You got to take what I call the second look. Not just what you are presented to or what you're shown to officially, but what is not so obvious to the sight.
Chapelwood and the Texans Conference is helping. The team brought supplies to the Methodist school at Utila Key, an even smaller island to the west of Utila. There, they met Edith Howell, who admits to being at least 104 years old. That's right, 104. Aunt Noonie, as she's known by the Islanders, has lived on the Key all of her life, watching 5 generations of her family grow. But socially, like so many Honduran families, Aunt Noonie has family members living in the U.S., sending money home as they can. This is, in fact, the chief source of income for Honduras. Education and health care are seen as the priorities for this third world country, and change won't come quickly. But with the church and through faith, there is hope.